The Public Charitable Trust, PCT. The Public Charitable Trust was created in the wake of the Civil War as a welfare fund for displaced former plantation slaves. This welfare fund is above and beyond anything that we can commonly think of as public assistance today. Those who couldn't make the transition to freedom for whatever reason became dependents of the government and wards of the newly formed territorial states of states and were considered United States citizens for that reason. Unknown to them, the people, their assets, their good names, their bodies, any and everything they owned was drawn into this scheme and presumed to be donated to the PCT in exactly the same way former plantation slaves were drawn into this status. Whatever they possessed that was attached to their names from then on was seized upon and added to the Public Charitable Trust too. Your name in its first and last form is literally a public charitable subtrust in this system. The Dust Bowl and the Depression combined threw millions of Americans out of work in the 30s. So FDR went to the governor of the territorial states of state, and they pledged the good faith and credit of their state and the citizenry thereof. And whatever assets the territorial states of states could claim for themselves and the assets of all their citizens were thrown into the pot being the Public Charitable Trust, PCT. The county attorneys became the local comptrollers of the PCT. They still are today. And what is a comptroller? A comptroller is a royal household official who examines and supervises expenditures, a public official who audits government accounts. So as the Depression rolled on, more and more people accepted public welfare benefits, were conscripted as dependents of the federal government, and were reclassified as United States citizens. Not only were you misidentified as a United States citizen, but you were also misidentified as a pauper too. All these people were labeled as paupers and added to the rolls of the Commonwealth. This is where the church gets into the mix. The Commonwealth System. Under the Commonwealth System, the king donates wasteland and waste people, which are paupers, to the church, as the church is the caretaker of those. The church receives title to the unprofitable resources, be it human or otherwise, and is then responsible for managing them and developing them for profit, used to support them, the church. In the ancient feudal system, the church created common pastures, community orchards, dairies, etc. on wasteland, using labor donated by paupers who were able to work. This benefited both the king, who was relieved of social welfare costs and the upkeep of barren land, and the church, which received resources for free that it could utilize, control, and profit therefrom. Straw man. This is where the straw man entity come in. These entities are created under the Commonwealth system by the municipal government run by the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church's goal is to make use of the resources that would be otherwise wasted, develop them to make a profit, or charitable relief in this case, and to contribute them back into the Public Charitable Trust. Now, you can see how they are borrowing your resources and making totally insupportable legal presumptions about you to enrich themselves and to pay the cost of public charity out of your pockets instead of their own. Your good name and estate were seized upon under false pretense, presumed to be property belonging to the Public Charitable Trust, to be managed as the municipal government saw fit to turn a profit for your upkeep. This has been going on 24/7 in the background since the 1930s, without your knowledge or consent. The Expatriation Act. The Expatriation Act allows us to extract ourselves from any undesired political status. This is our formal expatriation from any presumed or conferred status as a United States citizen or citizen of the United States, coupled with our explicit and public declaration of homestead and permanent domicile on the land and soil of an actual state, which overcomes their false claims. Our lawful persons, which they cannot touch, are the landlords of this country. Once we are back standing on the land jurisdiction, we are in position to deal with these issues. We have a $25 trillion national credit that is owed to us as a result of the fiat monetary system they imposed on everyone. It is time for the restoration of our lawful government. The state land trusts. We have state land trusts that are ours. They have no business administering it. Our gold and silver assets. We are now in possession of our gold and silver assets. Those gold and silver assets was once deposited all over the world, but we have them now back with us in our possession. And once you declare that you're back firmly standing on the land of your state, it's time to start reclaiming your assets. Start reclaiming your assets and your monies that's due you from the Public Charitable Trust. Now here's a disclaimer. ASNs accept all the gifts and we waive all benefits. We accept no benefits. Now there is a remedy. There is a remedy. The remedy can be found at Chapter 48, 48 Statute 112, which is the public law and part of the U.S. statutes at large. Congressman Louis T. McFadden filed charges against the members of Congress for doing this, for turning a blind eye to the fraud and the perpetrator's secret scheme. Congress filed this with the House Judiciary Subcommittee, and those charges still stand today. So to avoid consequences, Congress had to offer a remedy, which stands at the remedy above, Chapter 48, Statute 112. Trillions of dollars worth of credit is owed to the American people. Relief and remedy to millions of families. We must make every effort to reclaim our political birthright status. Now, what's the backstory? Well, the DoD, Department of Defense, has discovered a credit of approximately $21 trillion on its books. Now, this $21 trillion is the national credit that's owed to the American states and people. This credit has accrued over nearly 100 years. Generations of Americans exchanged their labor and goods for Federal Reserve paper IOUs and the national credit. Although the DoD did admit to the existence of the national credit, they have not had the authority to correct the situation. But we, the living people, do. And with that, everyone wins. Nobody loses. Ineligibility. Who is ineligible? Many Americans were and are still today being intentionally misidentified as as United States citizens and or citizens of the United States. And this misidentification makes them ineligible to receive the credit offset, which is why it is very important to do your paperwork. And what's the requirements to access your credit? Well, one is to do the paperwork. Next would be thank you. Thank you. You can go to https:// //signinamerica.com /learn-more to learn more.